Hi there, my name's Erica Lapierre.
And my name is Ashley Howe, and we've decided to do a personality analysis on the character Regina George from the movie Mean Girls.
The movie starts off with a girl named Katie Heron who has moved from Africa and is starting high school for the first time as she's been homeschooled her whole life. Katie becomes friends with a boy and a girl in her grade who are out to get revenge on the popular group at school who go by the Plastics. Katie is approached by the leader of the group, Regina George, and quickly becomes a member of this group, and not just anyone can be a member of the Plastics. As the year goes on, she becomes more and more dedicated to the Plastics and gets their stuck-up, fake, manipulative, and superior reputation. The Plastics have an ongoing book of people they insult in their school called the Burn Book, containing a picture of them and their opinion on them. The movie ends on a happy note, and everyone's drama seems to be resolved at the spring fling dance.
We will now watch a video clip from the movie of some of Regina George's classmates describing who they think she is.
She's the queen bee, the star. Those other two are just her little workers.
Regina George. How do I even begin to explain Regina George?
Regina George is flawless.
She has 2 Fendi purses and a silver Lexus.
I hear her hair is insured for $10,000.
I hear she does car commercials in Japan.
Her favorite movie is Varsity Blues.
One time she met John Stamos on a plane, and he told her she was pretty.
One time she punched me in the face. It was awesome.
We will now be analyzing Regina George using the 5-factor model. We believe that Regina is very high on extroversion. She is proven to be very social throughout the movie. Firstly, she got Katie, who is the new girl, to sit with her social group. Basically, she was calling dibs on the new girl to be a member of her social group, as she didn't want her to be a part of anybody else's social group. Secondly, she loves talking and being friendly to people's faces, which shows her extroversion. She's constantly complimenting people in the hallways, whether she means the compliment or not. Lastly, she's without question a social butterfly, which is very evident all throughout the movie, as everyone knows her at school, good or bad, but regardless, she's very well known around the entire school. Regina has also been proven to be very forward in her actions. For example, when the Plastics were at the mall one day, Gretchen, one of the Plastic members, she saw her ex-boyfriend with his new girlfriend, and it made her very upset. So Regina took a very forward approach and called this new girlfriend's mom, pretending that she was from Planned Parenthood, so that the mom would call the daughter, and that Gretchen would be able to witness this daughter get that phone call and witness her ex-boyfriend and this girlfriend being separated. So that's definitely a very forward approach. And also another example of her taking on a very forward approach would be whenever Katie has revealed that she had a crush on Aaron. And Aaron is actually Regina's ex-boyfriend. So they were at a Halloween party, and Regina went over to Aaron, and she was supposed to be putting in a good word for Katie, but instead she took a very forward approach, and as soon as their breakup came up, she went right in for the kiss. And that's definitely a very forward approach, because Aaron had no idea that it was coming, and really no one had any idea it was coming, but she acted very impulsively and took a forward approach and just kissed him. Regina George loves being the center of attention. She revealed the burn book to the school's principal with all intentions of getting attention from him and trying to get compassion from him, when really, in fact, she played the biggest role in creating this burn book. This is a short clip from the movie that will demonstrate Regina looking for attention as she stands up in front of the entire school looking for pity.
Let's start over here.
Miss Norbury had us confront each other directly about the things that were bothering us. And it seemed like every clique had its own problems.
You've been acting really stuck up ever since you switched to short fielder, and Dawn agrees with me.
Dawn? Don't drag me into this. I'm pitching tomorrow.
Tại sao mày danh két của tao mà vậy?
Mày chỉ có ghen tại vì mấy thằng con trai thích tao nhiều hơn thôi mày.
Làm ơn đi mày, không dám đâu.
Okay. Good. Can I just say that we don't have a clique problem at this school? And some of us shouldn't have to take this workshop because some of us are just victims in the situation?
That's probably true. How many of you have ever felt personally victimized by Regina George? good. Okay, who's next? Who's next?
Another way that Regina George proves her extroversion is through her leadership roles. She clearly plays a very strong lead role in her little clique called the Plastics. And actually, one example would be that at their Christmas performance, she wanted their performance to look exactly the way that she wanted it to look. So she took the lead role and organized their positions on the stage, whether they liked it or not. Also, there was one scene where two of Katie's friends who were trying to get revenge on these Plastics, they went into the change room, they took Regina George's shirt that she was wearing that day, cut 2 holes in the 2 breasts of her shirt, and Regina is such a leader around the school, not necessarily in a good way, but just the fact that people love to follow her, and she's such a strong leader that in fact people actually started wearing, once they saw Regina wearing the shirt with the 2 holes in the breast, the entire school was actually wearing a shirt with 2 holes in their breasts. We observed that Regina George was low on agreeableness. One facet of low agreeableness is grandiosity, which is a strong sense of superiority. Regina is first introduced in the movie as though she rules the school. Her body language makes her appear as though she is superior to the rest of the school and sees everyone else as her followers, and she will never go down to their level. Also, when she is watching everyone fight over the burn book, she is just standing at the top of the staircase with her leg out as though they are all inferior to her. Lastly, when the Spring Fling Queen nominees are being announced, when she hears other girls' names, she makes them seem inferior to her as they are not worthy of being nominated. This is now a quick clip just to show you the Queen Bee's superior attitude.
And evil takes a human form in Regina George. Don't be fooled, because she may seem like your typical selfish, backstabbing, slut-faced hoe bag, but in reality, she is so much more than that.
She's the queen bee, the star. Those other 2 are just her little workers.
Regina is deceitful. She is very misleading to others. Regina is caught in the projection room above the auditorium cheating on Aaron, which proves her deceitfulness as she is very untrustworthy and dishonest to her own boyfriend. Also, she completely misleads girls at her school by giving them fake compliments, then turning to members of her group and laughing behind their back of whoever she just complimented. In this clip, it shows her misleading a girl at school by complimenting her skirt, then immediately turning to one of her members and laughing at it.
Oh my God, I love your skirt. Where did you get it? It was my mom's in the 80s. Vintage. So adorable. Thanks. That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
Regina is very selfish. She lacks consideration for others. She does not care if other people are doing well. She just does not want anyone to do better, look better, or feel better than her. She is great at thinking of herself. For example, when she broke up with Aaron for the 2nd time, the Plastics were showing her that they cared for her and they were trying to comfort her. She showed no appreciation for this, but rather called Karen, one of the members of the Plastics, stupid and said, "No one understands me." In this situation, she was thinking of no one but herself and was not taking their advice or kindness into consideration. Regina manipulates Katie in a sense that she is the new girl in school and she knew that Katie was vulnerable to be easily molded based on who she started interacting with. Regina gives her no option really but to start sitting with the Plastics at lunch and takes control of situations to ensure that Katie will stick around with the group. Also, another way that Regina shows manipulation is when she finds out that Katie has a crush on her ex-boyfriend Aaron. She manipulated Katie's view on him, making him sound like he is a waste of time and is boring, when clearly she doesn't really have these views on him, as she shortly gets back together with him for the 2nd time. She was just being selfish and manipulated Katie's view on Aaron, hoping she wouldn't go for him. Affect is the experience of feeling emotion. It guides behavior, helps us make decisions, and has a major impact on our mental and physical health. 2 fundamental components are emotion and motivation. We'll start here by discussing Regina George's emotional stability. Regina proved to be emotionally unstable when she completely freaked after finding out that Katie had misinformed her about a bar she told her to eat, and it was actually making her gain weight. This clip will help you understand her emotional instability and will demonstrate her extreme overreaction.
It's like I can't trust anyone anymore.
Why are you eating a Caltine bar?
I'm starving.
Man, I hate those things. Coach Carr makes us eat those when we want to move up a weight class.
What?
They make you gain weight like crazy.
Mother! This girl is the nastiest skank bitch I've ever met. Do not trust her. She is a fugly slut.
There are three components of emotion. Number one, emotions have distinct subjective feelings or affects associated with them. Regina's lashing out and screaming is associated with her frustration and hostility towards Katie, making her gain weight. Number two, emotions are accompanied by bodily changes, mostly in the nervous system, and these produce associated changes in breathing, heart rate, muscle tension, blood chemistry, and bodily expressions. So as seen in the video, Regina clenches her fist when she is screaming and her face begins to turn red, and you can actually also hear her breathing getting heavier and heavier as she gets out the burn book. Number three, emotions are accompanied by distinct action tendencies or increases in the probability of certain behaviors. So relating this to Regina, her frustration and hostility resulted in aggressive behaviors and lashing out. She hit the lamp as soon as she walked into her room to possibly take out some anger. She then brought out the burn book and added a page to the book about Katie, but then she put a picture of herself so that she is able to retaliate by getting the other girls in trouble for creating this burn book. Seeing as she is in it now, no one would suspect that she's involved in making it, and this also reinforces the idea of Regina being quite manipulative.
Motives. A motive is an internal state that arouse and direct behavior towards specific objects or goals. There are two types of motives that we will analyze in Regina George. One is the need for achievement, and the second is the need for power. The need for achievement is to energize behavior when there is a challenge to do better than others. One example is seen in the workshop video watched earlier when Regina stands up and claims she is just a victim and does not need to partake in the workshop. However, Regina actually started this whole fight between all the girls when she revealed the burn book. In this situation, Regina believed she was doing better than everyone else and didn't deserve to sit through something she wasn't involved in. Another example, Regina demonstrates this when she is trying to do better than Katie to win over Aaron. She says to Katie she will go and talk to Aaron for her, and she ends up kissing him, obviously upsetting Katie. This is seen in the next video clip. Regina sees a challenge between her and Katie for Aaron and attempts to win him at the Halloween party. Here is the clip of Regina talking to Aaron at the Halloween party.
Hey.
Oh, no. Didn't anybody tell you? You were supposed to wear a costume.
Shut up. I need to talk to you. You know that girl Katie?
Yeah, she's cool. I invited her tonight.
Well, be careful because she has a huge crush on you.
Really? How do you know?
Because she told me. She tells everybody. It's kind of cute, actually. She's like a little girl. She writes all over her notebook, Mrs. Aaron Samuels. And she made this t-shirt that says, I heart Aaron, and she wears it under all her clothes.
Oh, come on.
Well, who can blame her? I mean, you're gorgeous. And okay, look, I'm not saying she's a stalker,
but she saved this Kleenex you used, and she said she's gonna do some kind of African voodoo with it to make you like her.
What?
This was it. Regina said she would talk to Aaron for me, and now she was.
I know she's kind of socially retarded and weird, but she's my friend, so just promise me you won't make fun of her.
Of course I'm not gonna make fun of her.
How could Janice hate Regina? She was such a good... slut!
What are you doing? You broke up with me.
That's crazy. Why would I break up with you? You're so hot.
The need for power is assumed to energize and direct behavior when the person is in the opportune situations for exerting power. One example is when Regina brings the girls home to hang out and her mom wants to talk and catch up with everyone. Mrs. George claims to be the fun mom, and Regina shuts her down by saying, "Mom, please stop talking." A little later in the same scene, her mom comes in the room and starts to ask what is new with everyone, and Regina tells her to go fix her hair. Here she is demonstrating a need for power by showing power over her mom when telling her what to do. She has an impact over her mother, displaying a readiness or preference for having an impact on others. Another example is when Regina begins to gain weight. Katie starts getting more attention. This attention towards Katie becomes a threat to Regina's power, and she starts to react in different ways. In the next video, we will see Regina not following table rules, a video we will be seeing later in the presentation. Anyway, Regina is told she can no longer sit with the plastics, and Regina's not being in the queen bee seat at lunch interferes with her power over the group. Once Regina is stripped of her power, she tells the group they can walk home, and this is confirming her need for power and how strong it is. That if she doesn't have it, she shuts down. Here's the video of Regina at the lunch table.
Regina, we have to talk to you.
Is butter a carb?
Yes. Gina, you're wearing sweatpants. It's Monday.
So?
So that's against the rules, and you can't sit with us.
Whatever. Those rules aren't real.
They were real that day I wore a vest.
Because that vest was disgusting.
You can't sit with us!
These sweatpants are all that fits me right now. Fine. You can walk home, bitches.
That's where you're going, fat ass.
Coping. Emotional inhibition is how your emotions get triggered. Regina has a low emotional inhibition because she is impulsive. When she's feeling something, she automatically reacts to it. Regina has an inability to inhibit her feelings because she lacks empathy. This means that Regina does not vicariously feel the experience of another. There are two models involved in coping, the interactional model and the transactional model. The interactional model is when personality influences coping. Personality influences the degree, the duration, and the frequency of an event or experience. Regina is very unstable, and she is impulsive, so her personality does not allow her to cope well, but rather in a very reactive and unpredictable way. The second is transactional model. This is when personality dictates how a person appraises a circumstance. The circumstance does not cause stress, but the appraisal or interpretation causes the stress. There are three components to the transactional model. 1. Personality influences coping. 2. Personality influences how the person appraises an impulsiveness, so not the event itself, but how the event is interpreted. And 3. Personality influences the events themselves. Now here is a short video clip following Regina finding out that Katie has been pretending to be her friend and has really been trying to ruin Regina's life by taking away her boyfriend, her friends, and her hot body.
Regina, wait, I didn't mean for that to happen.
To find out that everyone hates me, I don't care.
Regina, please. Regina, stop!
Do you know what everyone says about you? They say that you're a homeschooled jungle freak who's a less hot version of me. Yeah,
So don't try to act so innocent. You can take that fake apology and shove it right up your hairy...
So for number 1, personality influences coping, Regina's impulsive, attention-seeking, and unstable personality resulted in her coping method to be removing herself from the situation. This shows how her personality influences her decision to walk out of the gym and into the street. The second, so personality influences how the person appraises or interprets the event, is because Regina's personality is very extreme, she reacted in a very dramatic and unsettling manner, whereas someone who is more stable might have dealt with this situation in a more mature and calming fashion. The final component, personality influences the events themselves, is presented by Regina's personality not being high on agreeableness, which makes her more susceptible to creating conflict. In this scenario, she marches out of the gym, causing Katie to run after her, and Katie tries to explain her actions to Regina, and this led to an argument between the two.
We are now moving on to discuss the interactions between Regina George and her environment and with her peers. Social selection are decision points that direct us to choose one path and avoid another. As we saw in the Halloween video, Regina chose the path of talking to Erin to make herself sound better than Katie rather than putting in a good word for Katie like she was supposed to. She had one of two options, and of course, she chose to make herself seem better and more important than Katie. Evocation are ways in which features of personality elicit reactions from others. So when Regina George shows up at Katie's party, she claims, "How dare she not invite me? I basically created her." So someone may just think, "Oh, I'm not invited because we're not friends," but Regina thinks she created Katie and should be invited no matter what. So her low agreeableness evokes conflict when deciding to go to Katie's party. Manipulation is described as all the ways in which people intentionally try to change the behavior of others. Regina created all these rules for her followers to follow in order to sit with her at lunch. They must wear certain things, eat certain things, and say certain things in order to hold their seat at the table. She basically controls these girls' lives to fit her expectations. She altered the behavior of others so that they were all the same.
Having lunch with the plastics was like leaving the actual world and entering Girl World. And Girl World had a lot of rules.
You can't wear a tank top 2 days in a row, and you can only wear your hair in a ponytail once a week. So I guess you pick today. Oh, and we only wear jeans or track pants on Fridays. Now, if you break any of these rules, you can't sit with us at lunch. Well, I mean, not just you, like, any of us. Okay, like, if I was wearing jeans today, I would be sitting over there with the art freaks. Oh, and we always vote before we ask someone to eat lunch with us, because you have to be considerate of the rest of the group. Well, I mean, you wouldn't buy a skirt without asking your friends first if it looks good on you.
I wouldn't?
Right.
Nature biology. Ascending reticular activating system is a structure in the brain stem thought to control overall cortical arousal. So because Regina is high in extroversion, she has low levels of cortical arousal. Therefore, she engages in extroverted behavior to heighten her level of arousal. The behavioral activation system is a system in the brain postulated by Gray, which is responsive to incentives such as cues for reward and regulates approach behavior. Regina has a more active left frontal lobe and left hemisphere because she displays positive emotion, although most of these positive emotions may have negative outcomes. When the BAS recognized a stimulus as potentially rewarding, it triggers approach behavior. An example was seen in the Halloween video when Regina talks to Erin for Katie. When Regina saw Erin as potentially rewarding stimulus, it triggered her BAS, and her intentions changed to a behavior to pursue him instead of the original intent of setting him up with Katie. Going off of this idea, the BAS is responsible for the personality dimension of impulsivity. Regina demonstrated this when she approached Erin to talk and ended up kissing him in the same Halloween video.